Welcome back to the potty. So this week we are piggybacking straight off the back of last week, which was my winter motivation hacks part 1. If you've listened to it, send me a DM, let me know. I've already had a few people message me, and one of my clients actually messaged me yesterday. She was like, I'm so excited, I want to start implementing that 15 minutes of reading, like reading one chapter essentially before getting up in the morning, like having that time to myself. And I was like, honestly, slay. But also I want to talk about it because let's practice discernment here. So my book that I'm currently reading is, the chapters are like 35 to 40 minutes long. Like they're freaking long chapters. Usually the books I read are about 12 minutes. So it works perfectly. I'm like, I read my chapter and then I get up and go to work or the gym or wherever I'm going. And this morning I had a moment because I knew I could only read half the chapter. I wasn't going to wake up 40 minutes early. I was only waking up my 15 minutes early. But then the issue was, when do I stop mid-chapter? Like which page? I was like, oh, the next page? No, the next one. No, the next one. Because like it's in one chapter for a reason. Like you got to keep going. So anyway, I literally got up about 10 minutes late and I had to run to my train. But that was a whole thing in itself. If you have listened to that episode, please let me know. If you haven't, make sure you go back and listen to it before you listen to the rest of this one, because we're going to go into part 2 of our winter motivation hacks. You call them hacks. This one's going to be more of like a mindset type I was gonna say video, podcast episode. So more of like how you can kind of flip the mindset. I was thinking about what I was gonna say in this episode, and this was literally like an hour ago before I hopped in the shower, and I was just like, this could go either way. I could like really fucking go hard with some tough love, or I could be a bit nicer, and we'll just see. We'll literally just see where it takes me. I've got no idea where it's gonna take me. So anyway, with that being said, let's get straight into it. I've got 3 points. So the first one is I really want you to think about focusing on the journey and not the end result. So it kind of ties into last week where I said, about maybe having that 15 minutes of reading time before you get up and go to the gym. Like maybe rewarding yourself with a coffee after. Like something you can do to help focus on the journey instead of the end result. Because the end result, quote unquote end result, is always going to be changing. It's always going to be moving. Like for example, if you have a weight loss goal and you want to lose, 10 kilos, right? When you lose that 10 kilos, like what happens next? Like there's got to be a new goal after that. Maybe the next goal is to maintain it, which I would highly recommend. Next goal could be to maintain it. Maybe after that, you then go into a building phase. Maybe the next goal is to intuitive eat. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be something new, especially if you are like me. You're a goal setter. You love to have a goal. So there's always going to be something. There's going to be the next goal post. Like there's always going to be something new that you're going to want to achieve or do X, Y, Z, all the things. So that is my first point. There's not really a lot to say in that. I just want you to kind of think about focusing on the journey. How can you make it more fun? How can you enjoy it rather than focusing on, okay, I really just want to lose 10 kilos. Because if you're going to lose 10 kilos and not have any joy in the process and just fucking hate your life, you are going to put the weight back on because you're going to go back to exactly how you were because you were hating it. But B, you're just like wasting your life away. Do you know what I mean? Like make it fun, make it enjoyable. Yes, it's hard to lose weight. There is a reason that you're wanting to do it. But if you can romanticize it where you can, if you can focus on day by day, focusing on what are you learning, the new habits you're instilling, how far have you come so far compared to where you were. If you can think about these things and just focus on how you're having fun and just enjoying the journey as much as you can, then the end result is just, it's going to feel 10 times sweeter because you're like, that was so cool to get here. And then you can sit and reflect and go, what's next? So that is my first point. Nice, short and sweet, that one. The second one is to move like you already have the results / think of your future self. Now, the reason I bring this up is because there is a version of you. Let's use the weight loss example. There is a version of you that is doing things differently to how you're doing it now. So for example, that weight loss, say you want to lose 10 kilos. Losing 10 kilos is going to require something different from you than what you're doing now. Maybe you're currently not even going out for a walk at all. So that version of you is going to be someone who you know, they've enjoyed the journey, they've enjoyed this process, and now they enjoy going out for their daily walk, daily movement, whatever it is. You know, that's a new habit you've instilled. That person of you, that version of you, sorry, that has lost the 10 kilos, has started walking every day, or most days. Maybe you're someone who is currently not a morning person. You just kind of get up and you roll out of bed and you just log on to work, or you just, you know, go to the gym at lunch or after work, and you think you can't be cooking after the gym, so then you just go and grab something easy on the way home, and then it's just this whole fucking process. The future you, the version of you that has lost the 10 kilos is not doing that. They are getting up a bit earlier. They're going to the gym when they need to. They are eating better. They are prepared. They've done their meal prep. That version of you is what you need to envision. If you want to be a healthy, fit person, you need to act like a healthy, fit person. You need to act like someone who cares for themselves, who respects themselves, who does what they need to do to get where they need to be. It's a little bit of that self-trust, that self-respect that you really build along this journey. And from someone who, like, take it from me, someone who has lost the weight, put a bit on, lost it. Like, I've gone through this whole fucking cycle. Oh my God, I really actually hate listening to myself swear. I'm so sorry. But like, it just comes out sometimes. Like, we're just passionate. What was I saying? So yeah, the version, like me, someone who has previously lost 30 kilos at one point, very unhealthily towards the end. So I have put it back on, much healthier now. If you don't know my journey, I'm pretty sure I've done a podcast episode on it. It might be my first ever episode. So go back to the very, very start, season 1, episode 1. But I've had a whole journey myself. And when I think back to the girl that I was before I started this journey, I was literally, I think I put all the weight on between the ages of 18 and 20. I was in a long distance, oh my gosh, a long-standing relationship. What's it called? Long-term, that's the word. A long-term relationship. He was actually a gym boy. I was not a gym girl. I didn't even go for walks. He would like eat really well during the week, but then on weekends when we'd hang out, like he was all for like going, you know, grabbing takeaway, like let's fucking share a dinner box and let's eat Daniel's donuts, like let's eat, like it was very like cheap meal type vibes. So I was in on that. I was obviously 18, got my license. I could go out more, catch up with friends more. I could drink more. Like I was doing all these things, and there is nothing wrong with that. And this is something that I absolutely preach, because I still love a drink. I still love to go out with friends. I love to go out to the pub for dinner. Like I love all these things, but I do it in a way that aligns with the current version of me, the girl who actually has, like I said, lost the weight. Sorry, my laptop was going to go black. As the girl who has, you know, lost the weight, who started looking after herself, who actually knows how good it feels to look after herself. You know, I feel really good when I go for a daily walk. I feel really good when I train. I feel really strong. I feel really confident. I feel really well looked after. I, you know, eat enough protein every day. I'm eating my fruits and my veggies, and I'm sleeping well, and I'm drinking my water, and I know how good I feel as a whole. And I think back to how I used to feel. This was what, 8 years ago, and it was just like, I was just like not thriving. You know, like I was surviving, I wasn't thriving. My relationship was really unhealthy. I was still trying to figure out my life. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do as a career. Definitely didn't think I'd end up doing what I do now. Oh my gosh, something just fell. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. I definitely didn't think I was going to do what I do now, which is personal training, nutrition coach, you know, all the kind of things like that. But now, whatever fell honestly distracted me. It's getting so dark. What's the time? 4:47 p.m. I'm actually like very scared right now because the book I'm reading is a bit scary. So it's very like stalker vibes. So it's not good. But the point of this is to move like you already have the results, right? So I had to start going to the gym when I didn't want to, which fucking sucked. And again, I've got a whole story, and the programs I did and the gyms I went to, like, were just a bit cooked, but they really shaped me into who I am today. But I had to go to the gym when I really didn't fucking want to. The first time I set foot in a gym, my friend literally dragged me there. Shout out to her. I'm sure she'll be listening to this, but she fucking had to drag me there because I was like, I kept saying I need to make a change. And I actually talked about this in my stories yesterday. It was 2016 December 2016 I should say, and I had literally was shopping for my brother's engagement party, and I remember feeling so fucking defeated. I was so overweight, and I knew I was, but I didn't want to accept it. And then when I was shopping, I literally couldn't find a single fucking thing to fit me. Mum and I ended up in Kmart, and I bought this size 18 jumpsuit, which to some people might not seem like a lot, but to me I was like, holy fucking shit, I cannot believe I'm a size 18. I cannot believe I couldn't fit anything in other shops. I can't believe I had to come to Kmart to get, an outfit for something as special as my brother's engagement party. Like, I was really, really, really upset by it. I posted a photo on my Insta yesterday just to share a little bit about it with that story, and I said it's a photo that always sticks with me. It's a memory that always sticks with me, and I've still kept that jumpsuit because it really fucking sticks with me. And again, my relationship was fucked at the time, and I had such low self-worth, and I just fucking hated myself. And I remember crying that night for a few reasons I don't need to get into, but I remember just it was just not a good time. And I was like, something needs to fucking change. And it still took me another 5 months. So it wasn't until April of 2017 that me and my friend went to this gym. And again, it just started at gym, didn't really do much with nutrition, but if she had not taken me there, if she had not said, all right, let's fucking go, then I don't think I would have started my journey. So props to you, Shay, if you're listening, Illy. But yeah, it was something I had to do. I didn't want to go, but I did it. And again, having people around you that are going to support you, that is obviously the ultimate life hack, 100%. But sometimes you just have to do it yourself. I got to a point when, we weren't going to that gym anymore. We were doing separate things just because our lives just became a bit different. I was single, I think I was probably just living with mum at the time. I don't know, maybe we were in lockdown. I'm kind of getting confused. All the years are kind of blurred into one. And I'm going to talk to lockdown in a second, but all the years are kind of blurred into one. But I just remember being there was a point where I was I'm literally fucking alone. I was there is no one in my life that can push me to do what I need to do to lose this weight, to feel healthier, to just be overall a lot better. And that is actually when I started my Instagram account, which used to be @ShySezzy. If you know, if you've been around for a while, that's nearly 6 years ago I started that. But that was the push I fucking needed at that time. So there is always something, in this day and age, we are so fucking privileged. And I'm going to talk to that in a second. But at this day and age, we are so fucking privileged. You can literally make friends online. You just need to, put yourself out there. Or maybe at the gym, you put yourself out there and you go to group classes and you make friends that way. There is always a way you can find someone around you in some setting, some scenario for some extra support. So when you're really fucking struggling through winter, you're really fucking struggling with these motivation hacks, you're really just struggling in general, cannot recommend enough having someone, something, some kind of support network, some kind of accountability. Maybe you go see a PT, maybe if you're in South Yarra, you come see me. Maybe you go to group classes, whatever the thing is, having that support. I've really kind of gone off on a tangent, but having that support 100% will beat everything every time. So back to thinking of your future self. Now, this is where it could get a little bit, I could get a little bit feisty. I'm going to try not to get feisty. But if you are someone who is working from home and maybe, 3, 4, 5 days a week, and you are still rolling out of bed after about 3 or 4 alarms, it's 8:30, you're rolling out of bed, you're grabbing a coffee, and you're sitting straight at your desk to just get stuck straight into work. I'm fucking sorry, but you need to just wake the fuck up. And this sounds so fucking harsh, but lockdown, I think, COVID and lockdown, especially my Melburnians, we fucking went through it, right? But it changed a lot, and they're obviously going through it. Everyone was really struggling, having a hard time, being stuck at home. And again, with what I'm saying, please action discernment, so take what works for you and what doesn't. But I'm talking, what I'm going to talk to, you'll know if it's you or not. But it just fucking, it was so hard to go through it. But I also think we got so much privilege out of it. Before lockdown, we were all going into the office 5 days a week. Again, I used to work in an office. Going to the office 5 days a week. I used to have to wake up at 4 o'clock I would try and do it every single day. I ended up having one rest day, but I would try and do it every single day, to go to the gym, to do my steps, to do what I need to do. I had to have my entire week prepped with my meals. Like, I had to have everything ready to fucking go. And now we are so privileged. There are so many people working from home. You literally have been given the gift of time. If you are someone who you wake up and you roll out of bed and you just sit on your laptop and you just start working without having a glass of water, without washing your face, without going for a walk, without going to the gym, without having a decent breakfast, without doing something before you log on to work, respectfully, what the fuck are you doing? It has been 5 years. It has been 5 years. And if you are that same person who's complaining about not being able to lose the weight, not getting results, not getting stronger in the gym, whatever the XYZ thing is, it is because of this privilege that you are choosing to ignore. Like, I cannot even stress enough how much this future self, this person I keep talking about, is not doing these things. That person, that version of you that has lost the weight, that eats well, that goes to the gym 3-4 times a week, whatever it is, they're not fucking rolling out of bed right before they need to start work. They are getting up a little bit earlier. They are going to the gym, they're going for the walk, they're doing whatever. They're having a glass of water to start their day. They've had good sleep. They are not getting up, jumping on the computer, skipping breakfast, just going to grab whatever's easiest for lunch. They've got everything prepped, ready to go. And I'm not even saying you have to, like, I'm not putting this in your head of you need to get up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym and hit 10,000 steps and then go make a fresh breakfast and make sure it's got this, and this. Like, I'm not saying you need to do that in a morning routine. But you could wake up a bit earlier. You could simply go for that walk. You could just simply spend the time making a good breakfast. You could just simply go for a quick gym session. You could do an at-home session. There's so many on YouTube. Whether it's training, Pilates, like whatever it is. There is so much you can be doing that I actually, like, I don't get in a huff a lot, but this is something I get in a bit of a huff about. Because I just think it's been 5 years. You cannot be sitting there complaining. And again, access to discernment. If you've got kids, maybe, you know, you've got a big family that you got to provide for, like maybe you had a rough night with whatever, like access to discernment here. But if you are just complaining, you're tired all the time, you feel like shit, and you're just that person that's not even trying to prioritize anything, irrespectfully, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. And I'm going to leave that there, because that is one thing I'll get in a huff about. It really grinds my gears. It really fucking grinds my gears. If you don't like your life, if you don't like your job, if that's your coping mechanism, honestly, you got to do better. Find a new job, fucking find your career, whatever it is. I fucking hated the 9 to 5. I've worked fucking hard to get out of it. And I'm so fucking grateful and privileged to be in the position that I'm in. But I worked for it. I didn't just wake up and like, oh, now I'm a PT. Now I'm an online coach. Now I'm a nutrition coach as well. Now I help women in so many fucking ways I couldn't even imagine 2-3 years ago. I worked fucking hard to get here. I was literally working full time, finishing my Cert 3, my Cert 4. I had done my Cert 3. I was still finishing my Cert 4. I was studying nutrition. It was Christmas time. I was trying to train up someone for my role in my full-time job. I had just started working in the fitness industry as well. I had so many, I remember this point so clearly. This was between October 2022 to January 2023. I was beyond fucked. I was beyond cooked. I still went to the gym twice a week. I made it work around what I was doing. It didn't have to be big, but I made it work. I prepped my meals more than I ever had before. I made sure I got out for my walks, because I would not have got through all that and got to where I am today had I not prioritized myself. That's a bit of a tangent, but I'm going to wrap that bit up there. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is something that is for my female listeners, and now I've looked at my analytics for the Balancing Healthy podcast, and as of today, when I've just looked, 98.6% of you are females. I don't know who the 1.4% are, but hello. And within that 98.6%, I've got 89.5% between the ages of 23 and 34 years old. So this, what I'm about to talk to, is really gonna fucking work for you guys. You guys are gonna be wanting to listen to this. Again, if you're a client of mine, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. But I wanna talk to periods. And this could be a whole conversation, and I do actually wanna have a whole podcast episode on the menstrual cycle and the health of it, and like there's so many ways we can go into it, not even just, you know, periods in general. We can go like, anyway, I'm actually not gonna go into that because I don't need to, but like there could be a whole other podcast ep on that, which is my plan. But just for now, in terms of motivation, so bringing it back to that winter motivation hacks and everything like that, is planning ahead. Like, do you know your cycle well enough to know when you're gonna get your period? Maybe you don't bleed every month, but maybe like generally my clients that don't bleed every month, they will still have some kind of cycle. They'll still go through the symptoms, and I really encourage them to track it. Because if you can track your cycle and you know your period is coming up, you know your motivation is low, it's something that I really want you to give yourself a bit of grace for, in feeling like, I don't want to go to the gym today, or I don't want to do my steps. But in the next breath, it's also something that is equally so important to clock when it's like either I just don't want to, or like I'm actually in fucking agony. So for me, for example, I'm 27-day cycle, like fucking clockwork, right? I know my symptoms leading up to it. I know when it's coming. I know that on my first 2 days of my bleed, I do not want to be going anywhere. I do not want to be training. I usually get a little bit of cramping, a little bit of back pain. I try and really minimize that as much as I can. So when I know she's coming, I actually look at my week and I look at, okay, what training do I need to do? Like, what's in my program? When am I busy? When do I have time to do more walks? Like, I look to it as a whole, and I know my motivation is going to dip. I know she's going to dip when I'm having my bleed. So I work around it, which means when I am bleeding and I feel a bit shit, I can allow that to be what it is. I can allow myself to have that extra rest, that extra sleep in. And again, this is why like it is so important for you to track your cycle, because sometimes, and the reason I'm bringing this in is because my one-to-one clients, like nutrition and training, my online clients, and I even talk to this with my PT clients as well, because it's so fucking important when I'm training them. But specifically with my online clients, we do a check-in every week. And one thing, there's one question on the check-in form that literally just says what day you're at in your cycle. Like, such a simple question. And I don't even talk to it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, you're at day 24. Wow. Like, I don't sit there and do that, but it is there for a reason. And that reason is I have noticed patterns in my clients, and I can easily link it back to their cycle. For example, I had a client recently that she said in a check-in, like, oh, like my appetite was really low this week and I was feeling this way, that way, etc. And then I was like, I feel like it's been about 4 weeks since she last said that. And I looked at her check-in and I saw that it was like day 2 of her cycle. And I was like, yep. Okay. So I literally went to her and I said, hey, have you made the connection with your appetite being low and your period? And she's like, oh, actually, you know what? I think you're right. Like she clocked within the next 28 days, and she's like, oh my God, you're absolutely fucking right. So we made a plan because, again, I think depending on how you go when you're bleeding, you either want to eat fucking everything or you feel like shit and bloated and you don't want to eat anything. But it is so important to still eat, to still get nutrients, to still get things in to support your body with the hormonal cycle and all the things that are going on. So we literally made a plan for her and we said, okay, when you get your bleed, we know your appetite is low, start with a liquid breakfast. Like, have a protein smoothie. Proteins, fruits, carbs, fats, all of it's in there. Once you've eaten that, you feel good. And a couple of hours later, the appetite's actually kickstarted. Like, we actually did this. And she's like, oh my God, I had my smoothie and now I'm like, I feel good for the rest of the day. Like, I'm still eating regularly throughout the day because my appetite is there because I've eaten. So she's actually feeling amazing. Energy is there. So even when it's like the typical, oh, no energy because I've got my period. No, the energy is there. The motivation is there because she's looking after herself. That's one thing to talk about. Another one is, I have to look at my notes because I've got another one, was Yeah, it was the motivation thing, which is motivation in general. So this one was, I remember this one-to-one client, and again, she doesn't get a bleed every month, but I noticed it was like every 4 weeks. I was like, we're having this fucking dip. And she's actually ADHD like me. And for me, my PMS, it's just like my ADHD, like the brain fog, the a little bit of tiredness. Like there's a couple of symptoms I get that are like, they're going to town during like when I'm PMSing. Like it's like my ADHD just decides to come out to play. And I noticed that this was happening for this client too. I was like, okay, so even though you're not getting a bleed, you're having a cycle still. And it's just, again, bringing it back to the motivation. I was like, okay, we need to be aware of this. So we need to clock this. So if anyone's watching the video, my neighbor just turned off their light, but I feel like that light is always on. It just scared the crap out of me. Where was I going with this? Motivation, periods. Oh yeah, it was just like, we need to clock, like if you can track your cycle and you know in advance, like, okay, I know I'm going to dip here, but I can push hard here. Push hard there. Do what you can during that time when you're feeling fucking amazing. Then when you have this dip in motivation, you know it's coming for one, so you can prepare for it, so you can start to look at all these other hacks, look at what else you can do. But then after that, go, okay, now assess, am I good to go? Like, now that I've eaten, do I feel good? Am I good to go to the gym? Was it just my hormones being a bitch to me, or was it actually like a genuine, okay, I needed to rest and have this time off, if that makes sense. So I'm going to wrap it up here, but just trying to discern the difference between, am I lazy or do I need the rest? It can be a very fine freaking line, which is exactly why, like, I'm not a pushy coach. Like I'm a softie. I'm known for that. I'm a bit of a softie. I love to praise and I love to give my clients like, yay, look what we've done. But I will never sit there and say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, why didn't you do that? I'll always go, okay, maybe you didn't do this, but look at this instead. You know, so I always kind of clock where I can and then give that gentle nudge, but also I'm there to be like, okay, motivation was not good. And again, it's winter, there's a big theme with it. But then I look at, okay, what in particular with you can we do to bring that motivation up a bit and to get you quote unquote back on track? Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna wrap it up because especially if you're watching the video, it's getting quite dark. It is now 5:05 p.m. and I need to load this up to my laptop, which technology, she doesn't do well for me. She really doesn't do well for me. This took me, I don't even want to say how long this took me last time, but I am loving the fact that I'm recording on my phone as opposed to Zoom now because I feel like the quality's a little better even though it's dark as heck right now. And yeah, we're having a good time. So I'm going to go do that. But as always, I would love if you guys liked the episode, if you had any takeaways, please share it to Instagram, tag me because I would love to see it as always. If there's any topic requests or guest requests, anyone you'd like me to interview on the podcast, please let me know as well. Just send me a little DM on Instagram. I promise I don't bite. Like I said, I'm a bit of a softie, so I'm just here for a good time and just for a good chat. But thank you so much for listening or watching as always. I appreciate you all so much. If you're feeling extra generous, oh my God, generous, a like and a follow would go so far. And if you're feeling extra generous, feel free to give us a rate of 5 stars if you love it that much. But thank you guys for being here. I will see you in next week's episode. Bye.